Hello, this is Arthur again, and today we have a 2018 BMW 430i Grand Coupe, and this car is here because it has coolant leaks. If you haven't subscribed to my channel, please consider subscribing and watching some of my other videos. I have a lot of videos on different interesting cars and repairs that will really help out my channel grow. And as far as this car goes, it is here because of a coolant leak, and it has 85,000 miles. So the owner did show me where the leak is from when he came, but I found one more leak on it. These cars do like to leak coolant a lot. This generation of B46, B58, B48 engines, they tend to leak a lot of coolant, I noticed, and this one is no exception. Okay, let me show you. Okay, here we have the 4-cylinder engine. As you can notice pretty quickly, there is a fair amount of coolant leak coming from the turbo feed line, and it has been leaking for a while. It is a common place where this coolant leaks, and I'm going to replace that line. However, the owner did tell me that not only he adds coolant here, but also here on both reservoirs. Every few weeks he adds coolant, and for this turbo intercooler line, the coolant goes here, and this one goes to the main radiator and to the engine. So whenever this one goes lower, there must be some other leak going on. And I did look through, and I did find the leak. I did remove the bottom cover, and I did notice some coolant on the driver's side. There usually is few places where it can leak. Go over there. It's either water pump or oil filter housing or upper radiator hose, and there's also one vent line, this one, that tends to leak sometimes too, and also ends up in the same place. So this one actually is the upper radiator hose with a connector to the block. That's where the leak is from. Let me get my camera out and I'll show you where it is. Okay, I did remove all the covers already. I have my Teshlong camera, and I'm going to feed this camera end right where the operator hose connects to the block, and kind of look at the base of it. And it's kind of difficult to see here. I will show you once I get a good point of view on it. Okay, right there. It is kind of difficult to see, but this is the bottom of the hose, and you can see the green residue right there. So there is a gasket behind that pipe, and that pipe starts leaking from there, and that needs to be replaced. And whenever you replace that one, you have to replace the upper hose as well, as it is kind of difficult to get it out, and it doesn't make sense not to replace the upper radiator hose. And to replace it, you gotta take the either intake manifold out, which I think that's what I'm gonna do this time. That way you can access the hose, or another way is I do sometimes is you can remove the computer, and then that way you'll be able to get to the bolts, but it is a little bit harder actually than it is taking the intake manifold out. Let me show you the parts I have for this job. So I did go to the dealership, and I was able to pick up an upper radiator hose. This is the part number for it, and this is the little pipe that connects to the block with the part number. If you do have one of these cars, make sure you check with your VIN, with your BMW parts department, to make sure this works. This part numbers work for your car. It might differ for yours, but typically this is the ones that go on all these 330s and 440s. And this is the turbo line that is going to get replaced as well. All right, now let's get to it. Okay, for the turbo line I did remove this piping in the front. There are a few connectors and a few quick disconnects on some vent lines and such. You gotta disconnect those and then it pulls out the intake as well. It gives you some more room over here. I did remove this turbo actuator right here, and to give me a little more room. The line disconnection is the hardest part. You gotta kind of work your way out to push the bottom line out first as it overlaps with each other. You gotta take it out first before you can take this one out, and I was able to push it out with a screwdriver from the bottom. From top I wasn't able to, but from the bottom, once I gave it a few pushes, it came out. And then I installed a new one, and now I'm gonna put some of this stuff back on here and then continue working my way on the intake manifold. Okay, I have the intake manifold off. I typically do this job from this side by removing the computer, and it works. It's just kind of a hassle because you have to look with the camera and fish for the bolts and stuff. So I decided to go this route, and I'm not sure if it's actually any easier. It is, I mean, it's not bad, but you do have to disconnect a lot of stuff. And there's a lot of lines and connectors, a few bolts to be able to get to this. This was leaking. As you can see, there is some coolant residue right there, and on the wall. I'm just going to replace both of them, as it is not just one thing. There's possibly either one of them is leaking, so I'm just going to do both. Anyway, so I'm not sure if I will do this way in the future again or no, probably, but just a good thing is you get a good visual over here. Other than that, it's more work, I think. So let's go. Okay, intake manifold is back on. Intake is on. Everything's connected pretty much. I did add some coolant. I'm gonna start it and then I'll top off the coolant and then I'll do a pressure test to make sure nothing leaks. Some over here too. This one was kind of full. I don't know if it was overfilled. I didn't get that much out of it once I disconnected the line, so you might not need to add too much. I'm gonna let it run for a while and then I'll see. I'll turn on the heater. The heater and defrost are on. I don't have any check engine light or anything like that, so connected everything back. It's a lot of stuff to connect, so you have to be careful. See the pump circulating, see fluid going. Over there, and over here looks pretty cool. I'm just gonna keep an eye on it for a few minutes, and then I'll check it out some more, make sure there's no leaks. And pull out my pressure tester and do a pressure test. Okay. F30 is all done. I replaced the hose, the connector, and as well as the turbo feed line. And I did do a pressure test, and right now it's leak free. And let me show you the parts that I've removed. Here's the turbo line. As you can see, it was leaking pretty good. It's very green, blue-green, whatever. The coolant residue, and as well as the operator hose was leaking as well. It's very common for both items to leak on these cars. As far as the job goes, it's not bad. The intake manifold is kind of annoying to remove. I don't know if I'll prefer the other method better still. I'm not sure. I think it's 50-50. Either one kind of sucks. But whichever one you do, it should work. So, thank you for watching. Please comment, like, and subscribe. There are more videos to come soon. Thank you.